is he said it very clearly. I'm just going to say it because I'm old. Is that he went in there and he learned about the first African American military pilots. Now, when he goes to school, what grade are you in, sir?
Third.
In the third grade. I love the third grade. In the third grade, when he gets ready to be a junior in high school, which is when they teach you U.S. history, he'll already be able to say, oh, I learned that. I met Mr. Spencer's son in his 1937 Pierce Arrow trailer back on Veterans Day at the Aerospace Museum in Sacramento, and I learned that then. And the teacher's going to say to you, you're ahead of the class. Always be ahead of the class. You know, if you go to the military, there's an old saying in the Army, and it goes like this. When you're on time, you're late. When you're early, you're on time. Education is the same way. If you wait around and say, oh no, I don't have to worry about taking U.S. history until I'm a sophomore. But if you decide that I'm going to take that when I'm in the fourth grade, because you're about in the fourth grade on your way, you'll be that much more ahead of your learning process. And I'll tell you what else you'll be ahead of, young man. You'll be ahead of saying, oh my God, I got to go to school. You'll be saying, I can't wait till I go to school. Because that's the difference between learning and having to go to school because somebody told you you have to learn. Once you energize yourself, generate yourself, nobody can turn you around. My mother has a saying, and I'm going to give you some old sayings because I come from a mother who was born in 1922 and a father who was born in 1906. And my mother said, Chauncey, don't let nobody turn you around. And my father says, don't let nobody turn you upside down. And what that means is that if you have your heart set on something and they're your goals, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Make it your business to do it, but not to prove to them, but to prove to yourself. Because they're not important, because they already let you know they don't believe in you. So you believe in yourself and you'll never fail. Great job. Let's get my hand for that.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody, I just want to, people weren't all around when we got started, but I want to, first of all, say thanks to Chauncey for being here today. He came all the way from Houston, Texas, for this trip, but he lives in Palm Springs. I met Chauncey about a year and a half ago, and at least maybe almost 2 years ago now, but when I was in the Navy for 25 years, and I've been flying as a pilot for over 35 years. And I know a lot about aviation, okay? When I was about his age, I used to build model airplanes and hang them from the bedroom ceiling of my bedroom. And, I just was really into flying all my life. So I know a lot about flying. But after I first met Chauncey, and then I went through this exhibit right here, his traveling African American aviation exhibit. It inspired me because there were several things that I didn't know. I knew about the Tuskegee Airmen, I knew about several things, Benjamin Davis, and a lot of other later African Americans in the military. But the thing that I didn't know was there was so much aviation history before the Tuskegee Airmen. His father, the Tuskegee Airmen would have never existed if it wasn't for his father and one of his best friends. So he is an expert in this area. I encourage you to really engage and lean into this exhibit because it is fantastic. And there's a ton of history here. It inspired me so much when we met and I went through this exhibit. I'm the director of this museum, and I get to meet fun exhibits like this happen, like this, and a bunch of other fun things. And but this inspired me so much that I went to one of the local colleges, American River College. We have several artists, student artists that are there at American River College, and they have painted a 58-foot long mural that's going to go on that blue wall right there above the glass wall, that big round wall. You're going to see this in February or March of next year. And so Chauncey and his exhibit inspired me to take what I learned from his exhibit and infuse it into the history of aerospace. And it starts 2,000 years ago with Chinese kites, and we call the mural the hidden figures of aerospace. And not only are several of the characters from his exhibit in that mural, but lots of other people that you may not have ever known about. So it's the hidden figures of aerospace, and it goes all the way from, like I said, Chinese kites to the Ingenuity helicopter that landed on Mars. So please lean into this exhibit. It is fantastic, and he is an expert on all this. That he's just inspiring. So thank you for being here, Charles. It was great to see you again.
Tom, thank you so much. I'm almost embarrassed, but I appreciate it. I'm a humble person. I know, and I love it. And I told Tom, I said, I'm just that honest that I don't want to take a picture of it because it might slip out on some internet, and I don't want him to say, Charles, why did you do that? So I told him flat out, listen, I didn't take any pictures of the stuff you have in there, and so I didn't. I have it in my memory though, I know it. But, and they have been, him and his wife have been super, super nice to me. We consider each other family. And everybody in here, those since we've talked about things, this gentleman right here was telling me about his experience. He went on and became a aviation mechanic, and then he couldn't find a job. And he was in an area where now, in Colorado, where they got all kind of aviation, but back in the day, he didn't have it, so he had to work on farm equipment. It probably cost as much as an airplane, by the way, because he worked on some things that were in the $1 million range. But I got to meet him, and I got to meet a lot of people here that makes it very important for me to do that. For the young people here, and I know that you guys might want to be doing something else, but I want to reward you with something, but you're going to have to be patient with me, because I want everybody's head to have the same thing on their head so you can have a hint of what you're going to get from it. So I want everybody in here to have them a hat from the African Americans in Aviation Traveling Museum. These hats that I have, my product is the only product that I sell. Nobody else. So if you see anybody with one of those t-shirts or one of the hats like the families have behind there, they had to get it from me because nobody else is allowed to sell the stuff, and I own it. So once you get this stuff, I don't want you to keep it and say it's an antique, but the stuff is actually going to be an antique because there will be no other market that can sell my product but me. So it'll be important for you to have it, and I'd like for you to have it. I wish I had some small t-shirts. That's why some of the little girls in here have to have the hats, because I only had mediums, and I don't have any smalls. But I'll get you one. You medium, I read lips. So, and she's going into the Air Force. Let's give her a hand. This young lady, you stand up for it. I talked to her, and I asked her about aviation, and she was the first one to say, yeah, I'm interested in aviation. And she's real smart, because she didn't say anything about where she was going. I had already sent her to a college, got her a scholarship and everything. And she says, oh, I just wanted to tell you, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be signed in, and I'm already in the Air Force. I said, that was even better. You already got your scholarship. Thank you. And so, give her a hand, please, and thank you for standing up. She inspired me. And so, why I do what I do, nobody asked me that, but I'm going to ask myself that. And the reason is that it's people like her. It's people like the kids behind her. It's people, the young people in here, they are our absolute future. It's not a cliche of what it is, it's the realities of what it is. When I was 16 years old, I was about her age, well, she's 17, so I was 16 years old, and I had already decided what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a pediatrician. I wanted to be a doctor. And that was my goal. My goal was to be a doctor. And then I found out that you have to deliver the baby, and I changed my major, and I became a mechanical engineer. So go figure that one out. But I did that not because of that, but because I'm sort of squirmish when it comes to needles and shots and stuff like that, and I thought I couldn't handle it. And that's how, but I was 16, you gotta remember I was 16, I'm 66 now. And I retired, my last job, I retired as a commander of narcotics for the Detroit Police Department, and I had to go through an open autopsy, and I've seen things that back in 16 I would have fell down, but now I can go to one of them and I can go eat lunch after that. So it's just a matter of time to build your courage up to do what you have to do. And I wish her well on that. I want her to be able to come back and give her experiences about what it takes, because one thing we have to realize is that you're not going to be young forever, but you may be old for a long time, and that's a blessing. And so to be old for a long time, to me, it means that you owe people that haven't had your opportunities so they can get there twice as fast as you did. Because the better we can build our communities, the better we can build our world. But we're doing fine, so don't take me wrong. We're doing fine. We're building at a good pace. We are human beings, so nothing is built like a machine. Things in a human being work today. Tomorrow they might be a little slower. if we were a machine, that machine would work the same amount of production every single day. And that's my mechanical engineering conversation going to you. But as a doctor, if I would have been a doctor, I would have known that all children aren't the same. Some children catch colds faster than others. Some children do this, some children do that. But a machine doesn't do that. So I want everybody in this room to realize that we are not machines, and I don't think you think you are. But we can't expect any more from ourselves than what we have to give from ourselves, if that makes sense to you. So if you know that you can do better, we hope you do. But we don't know that until you show us that you can do better. Any questions for me out there? No questions? If you guys come and sit down,